Hello everybody, Dev here with the Rogue Deck Chronicles, and this week I wanted to go over a archetype that seen some play and then got some new cards in this Mega Ascension or Ascended Heroes set, and that is going to be the Hops Trainer archetype, focusing on the new Hops Trevenant. So Hops Trevenant is a stage 1 140 HP psychic type Pokemon with the first attack Horrifying Revenge for a single colorless. It does 30, and then if one of your Hops Pokemon is knocked out last turn, it does 100 more, so it can be doing 130 for 1 energy. And then it has Corner for Psychic double colorless for 90, and then prevents your opponent's Pokemon from retreating. Now, as we know, because it's a Hops Pokemon, it has access to a whole bunch of the Hops fun little pieces to it, which includes the Hops Choice Band, which reduces the attack cost by 1 colorless and it boosts the attack by 30 damage. So with a Hops Choice Band, that Horrifying Revenge is doing a base 60 before the 100 boost, and it's now not worth any energy because it is for free, on top of Hops Snorlax with the extra helpings. If it's on the bench, your Hops Pokemon does 30 more damage, along with Postwick, that all your Hops Pokemon do 30 more damage. So there's 90 damage in modifiers that we can add to our Hops Pokemon to make our attacks even stronger. Now, because this is a Hops deck, let's go talk about the other main attackers for the deck. First and foremost, it's Hops Zacian EX, a 230 HP metal type Pokemon that has the Instant Strike attack, does 30, and then 30 more to one of your opponent's bench Pokemon. And remember, with the Hops Choice Band, this can be for free, and then with all the other bonuses, this 30 can turn into 120 really quickly. Along with that, the other attacker in this deck is Hops Cramorant, a colorless 110 HP basic Pokemon with Fickle Spitting attack for a single colorless. As always, it does 120, but only does damage if your opponent has exactly 3 or 4 prizes. So you lead with a Zacian, it gets knocked out, you can promote a Cramorant, and then you can sprinkle in some Trevenants and kind of make your opponent have to go through a whole bunch of Hops single prizers toward the end of the game, while having a big beefy EX up front to kind of set up your board. Along with all these Hops Pokemon, we do sprinkle in other Pokemon cards. First is a Lillie's Clefairy EX with the Fairy Zone ability. This does turn Dragapult's weakness to Psychic, which allows us to attack with Trevenant for weakness. With bonuses, can knock out Trevenant in one shot. We are running 2 Munkidori. We do have the Darkness Energy in the deck, and because we do not really need to have energy to attack with our main attackers, we can use our attachment for turn to turn on this Adrenaline. So when Zacian does not get KO'd, we can just pass off damage and kind of heal and fix some numbers with the Zacian. And then we are running 1 Fezandipiti to flip the script to help us with our draw and really try to get more cards into our hand in a given turn. Now, in terms of the item count, we do run 2 Buddy-Buddy Poffin. This is a little bit of a lineup change that I was making with the kind of the putting together of this deck. The Buddy-Buddy Poffin targets are only Hops Phantump, but I think making it where you can lead with 1 or 2 Phantump with Buddy-Buddy turn 1, turn 2 is super important. And because you have the Trevenant, I actually cut out Hops Bag from an initial starter of the list because I felt like you really want to try to get Trevenant on board, because you can get Cramorant and Snorlax fairly easy with Nest Ball, with Ultra Ball, and then with just pure draw. So I wasn't too concerned about that. So that is why, but I kept the Buddy-Buddy Poffin because I really did value trying to get Trevenant online as a revenge attacker in this deck. We do run 2 Energy Search, just again, it allows us to get our Psychic and Darkness Energy. We run 3 Night Stretcher for recovery. Again, we are using an evolution line as part of our strategy, so Night Stretcher is really good for that. And in terms of supporter lines, we run for Arven, search for our items in our tools, 4 Lillie Determination, and then 3 Iono. I threw in 1 Cyrano. Cyrano allows us to search for 3 Pokemon EX and put them in our hand, so it allows us to search for our Zacian, allows us to search for our Fezandipiti, and allows us to search for the Clefairy. And we can get all 3 in a single turn if we really want to, which helps with matchup. I threw in 1 Professor's Research for more of an aggressive draw. We do have the capability, and we often play with a very small hand size, so discarding your hand really isn't much of a concern in this deck. So research definitely allows you to just do a hard reset with 7 fresh cards. We run 1 Crispin to help us with a turn where we have to accelerate some energy. And then in terms of gusting, we will run 2 Boss's Orders, pairing that with our aspec of a Prime Catcher, and we do run 1 Counter Catcher for our gusting options in the deck. Now, in terms of tools, we will run 3 Choice Band, like we talked about in Y. Again, it's a key part of our strategy. We will run 1 Lillie's Pearl to reduce that price liability of Lillie's Clefairy down to 1. Counter Gain, because we are going to be playing from behind in the majority of our matchups, so making more attacks more free without having to use Choice Band definitely helps. Air Balloon, just in case we get anything stuck, and then a TM Evolution to allow us to do a turn 1 evolution just if we don't have what we want for an attack. So energy is 2 Psychic, 2 Darkness, and 2 Jet. Jet allows us to put something into the active just in case we lead with a Cramorant or lead with a Snorlax. We just don't want it. We can always Jet Energy onto a Zacian, fulfill the attack cost without having, if say we don't have a Choice Band, and just get the Pokemon into the active the way we want. So as always, guys, this deck list will be in the description of the video, so let's jump on the ladder and see how we do. Okay, so we are going second. So I'm going to lead with a Phantump and put a Munkidori onto the bench as a little bit of a buffer. We have the Postwick with the Hop, we have Lillie here, and we're facing off against the Erica's archetype here, so this is going to be Erica's Vileplume, it looks like. Honestly, really love this archetype. I know this is a deck that we want to do on the channel, so I'm super excited to see how it does against our Ops Trevenant and kind of go from there. It looks like they are just loading their bench full of Pangolin. So they're going all in on this Bellsprout. So we can, with Postwicks, with a couple other pieces here, we can definitely just have them go a turn behind. I'm going to put the Cramorant on, put Postwick in, and then let's Lillie for 8 fresh cards here. Okay. Alright, the other Phantump is prized. But okay, so we're just gonna go for 40 here and hope for the head flip. Got tails. Okay, so we can't be immune for a turn. Alright, so let's see what our opponent can pull off next turn. We have the Iono, Arven. Arven will be able to get us what we need, I guess. There goes our Stadium, there goes the Force of Vitality. And we are going to see them evolve all the way up to a Victory Bell. They're probably going to set up 2 Victory Bells, seeing that they have all these Pangolin in play. Now the good thing is we can have Cramorant knocked out, but we have to wait a turn. just gonna let our opponent kind of just expand out. 240. Poof. But the big difference in this is that they don't really have anything else set up. So if we can get the 110, which is doable here. I think what I want to do is Nest Ball Choice Band. Grab Zacian here. Switch the Zacian out. Turn on the Munkidori for the turn. We're gonna Insta-Strike there. And I want to just put damage onto a Leaping Bell. So we kind of just clawed back just a little bit. He can't knock us out without a damage modifier because we do resist the grass, which is great for this. So there's the Crispin play. Okay, so that's how they'll cheat the energy this turn. Pokepad, love that card. I haven't put it in this because I was looking more toward the hop stuff, but definitely Pokepad is a card that can be put into this list very easily. Okay. So we need to set up another attacker, which we can. We can try to set up another Phantump and Trevenant for some revenge KOs here. We have the Night Stretcher and Counter Gain combo here. And they have a big hand, we're going to Iono them down. So yeah, they can't one-shot us because of the resistance. So we were able to kind of claw back a little bit. So what we want to do is we want to grab that Phantump back. We are going to counter gain onto the Phantump. And then I want to get their hand size back down to a reasonable number. Fantastic there. Really, really good turn there, card there for us. We want to Adrenaline Brain some of that damage off. Not that it's going to change our math, but I can fix math on the evolutions. Let's Nest Ball to see what we can find. I really don't think we need to get any of those. I want to keep the open bench slot for Fezandipiti for next turn. And we're going to Insta-Strike. And we are going to pop in a Bellstrike. If we had another Darkness Energy, I would have definitely done Munkidori, moved the energy, and done the double KO. We just didn't have the Darkness Energy. But they're gonna KO the Hop Zacian to turn on the Cramorant and the Phantump there. they're just putting out attackers there. Night Stretcher back. A Pokemon, okay. Iono, okay, we're getting Iono to 4, so there goes the Fezandipiti for now. Gives us Hop's Choice Band, gives us an Air Balloon, gives us a Cyrano if we want to grab another Zacian. But we can also Hop's Choice Band the Cramorant for basically a free KO. Because we can make them take the Zacian, take this Cramorant, take the Trevenant, and then take a Zacian as like their route for prizes, and then we can just take 4 KOs back to back to back to back. That's why I love the Cyrano. It allows us to just pull a Zacian or a Clefairy or a Fezandipiti or all 3 of them at once, which is great sometimes. Okay, so we're just gonna go up. Cramorant's live, which is great. We got, honestly, we're just gonna pull all 3 out. I'm gonna put the Zacian in play because I just want it there. I really don't want to put the Fezandipiti because we don't need to. And I really don't want to rush any damage like that. But I do want to put energy onto the Trevenant, or on the Phantump just in case. So we're going to do 210. Knocking out that Victory Bell. We get a Crispin of our own, so we get to cheat some energy. And let's see, yep, there goes the Postwick, there goes the Forest. They're gonna pop evolutions like crazy. Now the question is, do they have the Crispin in order to do what they want to do? Because they have to get 2 energies this turn. I find it hard to believe they wouldn't have the Crispin, but I wouldn't be surprised at the same time. Yep, there it is. Okay. Okay, so we just see the mapping is doing exactly what we want it to do. If we can get a Trevenant, then we would be exactly where we want to be. And we might have to play a little risky here, just to kind of let our map go the way we want. A boss, which doesn't really help us. Unfortunately, I'm gonna have to put the Fez down now. Flip the script, grab 3. Doesn't really pull us anything we want. I guess, yeah, let's Lillie for a fresh hand here. Oh, we just can't get... We're doing 40 because we don't have really any of the other buffs. We Night Stretcher. What do we Night Stretcher? I guess we'll just pull an energy because we don't need anything else. Yeah, see, we just whiffed on a couple things. So let's just do 40, hope for a heads. See if we can just buy ourselves a turn. Okay, we got a heads. So we're either going to force our opponent to have boss for game, or we just bought ourselves a turn to get the Arven to get what we need. Alright, so they're doing Arven, so they don't necessarily have the Gust right now. But now they're able to kind of keep up energy pacing. The Trevenants can still get the KO next turn. So, not the worst situation, I guess. We can also boss the Tangela down and kind of just have them avoid past keeping energy on the board in a way that they want to. And we can also counter catcher too. So before we counter catcher, it's Arven. Okay. Let's just do some pieces here. So there's that. Let's Ultra Ball away. Search in the Psychic Energy. Grab the Trev. Let's do the evolution. So we just have to do 80. Horrifying Revenge only does 60, which is just shy. So we can turn on corner. And then just pop that Victory Bell and kind of keep that Victory Bell in the active there. Not the most ideal turn. If we would have got the Postwick, that would have been enough for a KO. But it seems like, yeah, they got the Crispin. They just pulled the Crispin out. I think that's our last Crispin. 1, 2. That's the Crispin number 3. So now we're at the point where we can take 2 prizes of our own this turn with Zacian. So let's Arven. We'll take Air Balloon. We'll take Energy Search out. Then I just wanted to take cards out of the deck. Let's flip the script. There's our stadium. Let's get their stadium out of there. Oh, I did Arven. I should have got. Oh, whatever. I'm silly. I'm super silly. That may have just cost us. Actually, no, it won't. No, it won't. Put that there. Knock that out. We can take 2 prizes next turn. The question is, can they knock out anything on my bench? Because we can just gust something and then move stuff around. Alright, so they're doing Lillie, so they don't have the supporter-based Gust. Max Rods are A-Specs, so we know we're not seeing Prime Catchers. So I think we won. By the skin of our teeth, we won. Because of resistance. Alright, so let's move that there. Let's Arven for Prime Catcher. Let's grab either any of the Yep, there's concession. They saw what we did. So that was Hops. That's really just Trevenant, Hops deck. We were able to utilize all aspects of the Pokemon there, and that was a really, really good matchup against this Erica's Archetype that honestly I'm really excited it did as well as it did, because I'm excited when we're able to showcase it off on the video and on the channel going forward. Alrighty, time for us to go into another match. We are going first. So we're going to lead with Zacian, kind of keep everything else there. Kind of see what we are running into. Looks like a Team Rockets deck of some form. Grass, obviously it's Team Rockets Tarantula. Man, our hand next turn is going to be good. Alright, so let's Ultra Ball away a Lillie and a Research. Now, let's Ultra Ball away to Clefairy. I don't think we need to Clefairy in this matchup. And then I want to put the Munkidori in play now. With the energy. And kind of just threaten. If you put damage on me, I'm going to put it back kind of combo here. Because next turn we can Lillie and really set up all the toys that Hops can do. Stadium, items, all that kind of stuff. Because we can easily pressure the Tarantula there just by putting on a choice band or putting in Stadium. You mark your Proton. So they're just going to set up their bench, which is fine. Okay. Going all in with the acceleration potentially. We resist, so we're not going to see any damage this turn. Okay, perfect. So we could... Crispin doesn't really help us, so we're going to Lillie for a fresh set of 8. See what we get here. We got Snorlax, we got Phantump for next turn. We got the Postwick. So we got everything but an energy. That's a little unfortunate there. We got a little unlucky. So what can we grab? We grab the Ultra Ball. We really can't do much with it this turn. So we're going to end turn here. We kind of missed that energy. If we had the energy, or if we would have got the choice band, we would have been off to the races. But we got a Phantump in play, so if they do somehow get a Zacian knockout, we can just return with the Trevenant. The Mimikyu, we don't run Terra, so I'm not really worried about the Mimikyu. That's just a free prize for us. And then, okay. 130 is not unusual for us to reach, especially if they do try to do any damage to us with the Munkidori. The Mewtwo, that is where we would have to try to set up some maths, really. But we can turn single prize if we need to for that. So what are we going to see from the secret box here? So they're doing what, 180 minus 30, they're doing 150 to us this turn. Alrighty. Yeah, saw that coming. I think they have 180, so they're not doing enough, they're still 50 shy. But man, they're setting up their turn beautifully. Even if we would have got the energy, I think they would have still been able to pull off a combination of this a little bit. They would have had to stretch a little bit more to get the full bench, but their turn one was already good enough. So they're 180. So they're two-shotting us with the spiders. That's perfectly fine. We have a Crispin this turn. So first things first, let's get the energy, or get the damage off our Zacian, and just put it back into there. That way we can get to the 100. Now the question is, right now we're doing 60, and we need to do 100, so we definitely need the stadium and the choice band. So I'm gonna put the counter gain on Phantump there, that way we get the evolution. So what we're gonna do here, it's gonna look a little weird, but hear me out here. We're going to get the Trevenant set up. We can do a return KO with the Trevenant. And then now we're going to get Lillie here. And we get all the pieces, we're not punished. I'm going to put a Cramorant down there for a threat. I'm gonna get the Munkidori down as well. I'm gonna actually do a second Munkidori this turn. And we're gonna put the damage. Ooh. Honestly, let's get rid of 2 of their Pokemon this turn. That'd be great. And let's take 2 prizes this turn. So when they take the 2 prizes, at least we're not falling behind too hard here. Choice band, energy search with the Cramorant. Perfect. The Trevenant. The Trevenant's not going to take advantage of the choice band, at least that one isn't. But all we would need is an energy. And kind of take advantage of some pieces there. Let's see what they do, because we could always just Cramorant and do a whole bunch of damage to this active. Articuno, prevent attacks done to your effects of attacks. Okay, so damage is not affecting the attack. Okay. So that's fine. We're good. My question is, will they have the energy switch to get the damage onto there? If not, we can start putting even more pressure onto our opponent's bench. We can always Prime Catcher as well next turn and put a Pokemon onto the bench that they don't want on the bench. Oh, they missed it. Okay. Okay. So 120. So how do we do this here? I think first things first. Let's move 60 of our damage onto this Mewtwo. Because then that Mewtwo is good. We're put that onto the Cramorant for whenever we do lose the Zacian. Do we want to Prime Catcher up the Wobbuffet and just take a cheap prize and then just soften up the Mewtwo, because right now we're doing 120, which puts it at 180. Let's Energy Search for Psychic Energy, which allows us to at least take advantage of a Horrifying Revenge next turn. And I think that's what I want to do. Is just, I want to get rid of this Wobbuffet. This Wobbuffet scares me. To be quite honest with you, it scares me. Put the Cramorant up. We Night Stretcher. No point in Night Stretching, so let's grab 7 and see if we can get a straight switch card here. We really don't. Okay. So I'm just gonna sacrifice, I guess, give them this Cramorant, I guess. Because it doesn't do enough, and I have to force them to do something about the Wobbuffet this turn. Or next turn I can just Jet Energy the Zacian back up. So we kind of played a little bit of a slower game there, because next turn, what we can do is that we can put damage onto, like, we can put 60 more damage on that Mewtwo potentially. So 120 plus 120 gets just a little shy. But honestly, I'd rather try to get rid of this Wobbuffet. Our turn, okay. Alright, so concession. Okay, our opponent just kind of walked away from the game. But we definitely had a good little back and forth there, so just kind of sucked that our opponent conceded so quickly. Okay then, so we are going second, and we're leading with a Clefairy, so not the greatest lead. And we're facing off against a Mega Lucario deck, so this is where we can definitely see Trevenant shining, hopefully. So, okay. Attach Pass, okay, okay. Let's see what we can pull off here. Let's Ultra Ball away, Energy, and Boss. Let's grab at least a Phantump. Or do we want to go safer and grab a Zacian? I think we're going to play a little safer and just go with the Zacian. Just a tad safer here. And we're going to Lillie for a set of 8. We got the switch. We got nothing else this turn. Oh, that kind of feels awful. Okay. That sucks, so we kind of gave our opponent a turn there. So, we'll see what they do with the turn. They're just dumping Premium Power Bros. Judging us down into 4. Which, honestly, the way our hand is, I wasn't really the most upset with it. Phantump Trevenant in hand. Just trying to do damage to our Clefairy. Okay. Okay. Well, first off, let's give Clefairy its Pearl. So that way, when it does get knocked out, it only gives up 1 prize. And then what we're going to do is we're just going to pull cards from the deck here. I'm not really going to do anything else this turn. We're just going to end turn. Because of weakness, Horrifying Revenge does a base 60. So we just need another. We have the other damage modifier here in Snorlax, so I'm not too worried. It's not hitting maximum damage because of Clefairy, but we can definitely start trying to claw our way back into doing some damage. The prize trade's in our favor here with Mega Lucario, so I'm okay with that for a turn. So we're seeing our opponent finally setting up. I mean, we didn't really do much better, so. Aura Jab, Accelerating Energy. Basically, we just have to knock out 2 Lucarios. They have to knock out like 3 to 4 of our Pokemon. So I'm not too worried about the prize trade here. I'm going to give him a Zacian. Hopefully we can try to get a free turn this turn. So we're going to evolve. That kind of gives us the Trevenant for next turn. I'm going to Arven first before flipping the script. So I'm going to give Zacian that. And I'm going to Nest Ball. Nest Ball, Cramorant. Again, we're just kind of doing the traditional hop stuff, right? Just trying to put stuff into play that does really good damage modifications. Unfortunately, we do have to put the Fezandipiti into play. Okay. And Night Stretcher. Night Stretcher for Darkness Energy doesn't feel awful, because then we can threaten a Munkidori at any time. So we're just gonna kind of poke. I just want to kind of poke damage, because then we're setting up the Trevenant. Really, we really want to set up the Trevenant for one shot to make Lucario. And if we can set up multiple Trevenants, that would be great. That would be obviously the end goal. Wally's Compassion. Protecting that and putting energy back in the hand. Okay. Because they wanted the Lunar Cycle. I see, I see. So next turn we have to get Postwick, we have to get Choice Band, but we have the Lillie for 8, so I'm not too worried about that. And we have flipped the script, so our opponent now has gone up 3 prizes, but now we can catch up. So we're gonna, again, kind of go all in with the strategy here. Buddy-Buddy is actually what we want, because we want to get another Phantump into play here. And then I want a Lillie and then flip the script. That gives us a maximum amount of things to kind of look at and hit. And of course we don't hit any of it, at least not on the initial. Now, let's flip the script again and grab 3 more cards, see what we can pull. Alright, so we have the Trevenant in hand, so what we can do is we can Jet Energy up the Cramorant to do some damage here. Which I think is the best. We're missing some damage modifiers, and I say some, we're missing a lot of damage modifiers here. But 150 is still good. Still puts pressure. We're just missing on key pieces this match. Really unfortunate. Really unfortunate, because we have the Trevenant, so really what we can do is force our opponent to go through Cramorant, Trevenant for the game. Don't know why they just threw a Power Press unless they're trying to get the Fez, but the Fez is already weak. We don't really run stage 2s, so that's fine. They had to throw it because of resistance. Okay. Okay. So let's try this combination again. There's a stretcher, which is there. Alright, so at least this guarantees us the Choice Band. And the counter catcher here. I'm just gonna try to get stuff out here. how much are we doing before? So we're doing 380, even without touching the stadium. So with that, I kind of just want to grab the full healthy one there. I'm gonna put an energy onto this Trevenant just in case we don't ever see anything again. There's that Iono, which kind of scares me for later. So we're going to Horrifying Revenge for the KO. We're going to get 3 prizes. And we're going to hold our breath because we put ourselves in a very bad situation in this match. To where if they have a gust to get that Fezandipiti, we lose. If they don't, we have a chance to win. So let's see what our opponent does. There it is right there, yep. We did that. We started way too slow. We missed too many things. So we'll let our opponent take that. They deserved it. We are just 1 or 2 turns away from really just doing what we need to do, but the Trevenant really puts pressure on the Mega Lucario Archetype. We just had a little bit of bad luck on that one. But we can definitely win that matchup if we just got a little bit better on the draws and played a little better. Okay, so there's been a couple of matches we've done today with the deck, and I will personally admit with this list is probably not optimized to the best of its capabilities. As you've kind of noticed in the deck list, I didn't want to talk about an intro, but definitely will talk about it in the post, is that we don't have Pokepad. I think Pokepad is a really good card for this deck because you can get everything but the EXs. So you get everything with the 4 EX Pokemon in the deck, so I think that's a really good card you could add to this deck. You could either substitute for the Ultra Balls or substitute for the Buddy-Buddy Poffins, or heck, you can cut all those 4 and just put 4 Pokepads. I think that's a very valuable strategy in this list. It's awkwardly positioned because the Trevenant can hit certain matchups for weakness, but it's also poorly positioned because you really are relying on the Hop Zacian Insta-Strike for early game pressure, and with the amount of Munkidori in the format, I think putting damage and not getting KOs is very detrimental to your strategy because they just turn the damage you just did against you. So that's just my observations of the deck. I have a blast playing with it on the ladder though. It was one of those oddly aggressive, but has a great mid-late game depending on your matchup. So it's really fun in different circumstances. It isn't just a linear strategy. You have flexibility. You gotta play off different strengths and different matchups depending on how your setup is. So another version of hops for those who are wanting to see how you can make the Hop Zacian deck work. I really do think the Trevenant makes the Hop archetype better, but let me know in the description, let me know in the comments, do you think Hop Zacian has a good place in the meta? Do you think that the Trevenant card make the deck better, or is this just something that we were forcing into an archetype that kind of already was established enough and didn't need any new tools? Love to see what you guys' opinion on the list. Let me know if you think a 4 Pokepad is valuable in this deck, or a number in between, to kind of see if we can optimize this list even further. If you made it this far, again, thank you very much. We love people that watch the whole video. We want to always encourage those and thank those who watch everything. And if you haven't already, check if you subscribe to the channel and double check if you have liked this video. That helps just break the YouTube algorithm, lets other people discover us, and lets other people see what the ideas we love to share are. With that being said, guys, thank you very much. As always, have fun playing those sneaky decks.